Welcome back to the channel, folks. It's me again, Shannon Fox here, Devoted Patriots 2 channel, and I've got some great little clips for you here today. First off, we've got Byron Donaldson telling George Stephanopoulos just how it is. And I love to see this stuff because, as we know, George Stephanopoulos is one of those ABC wackadoodles, like that black girl, I forget her name, Caitlin or whatever, that was grilling Trump the other day. I think over on ABC, a prerequisite to work there is you got to hate Trump and you got to not actually let people answer questions, and you got to berate your guest on the show. It just seems like what ABC and NBC is good at these days. Not much actual journalism that actually happens on those sites. That's why a lot of people are turning the channel, switching stations. But I've got several compilations here for you today of some things that were said during interviews that was definitely worth remembering and sharing. So here we go, folks. Let's get into it. This first clip's about 4 or 5 minutes long. But Byron Donaldson doesn't back down. He doesn't put up with the crap. And he treats George Stephanopoulos just how he should be treated, with a little bit of class and dignity from Byron Donalds, while George Stephanopoulos looks a friggin' fool. Not for the first time, second time, but almost every time he comes on air and invites a Republican onto his show, his main objective only seems to be one thing: trashing the Republican. Here we go.
Why is former President Trump questioning the vice president's racial identity?
Well, first, George, in Chicago, he was responding to a question from, I believe, Rachel Scott. Like, this is really a phony controversy. I don't really care. Most people don't. But if we're going to be accurate, when Kamala Harris went into the United States Senate, it was AP that said she was the first Indian-American United States senator. It was actually played up a lot when she came into the Senate. Now she's running nationally. Obviously, the campaign has shifted. They're talking much more about her father's heritage and her black identity. It doesn't really matter. The president mentioned it. What he also talks about far more frequently is the fact that Kamala Harris is the person who created this massive inflation, which is destroying black families, white families, Hispanic families. It's her failure as border czar that has left our southern border wide open more than.
See what he did there, don't you, folks? George Stephanopoulos starts to trash Trump in his first supposed question about Kamala's ethnicity. Byron Donalds doesn't even go there. He immediately says, "No, what's important here is Kamala's track record sucks."
More than 10 million illegal immigrants coming into our country, record fentanyl coming into our country, which has killed more Americans than at any other point in the history of our country with respect specifically to fentanyl. And the fact that she and Joe Biden have unleashed one of the worst foreign policies in the history of our country that has us on the verge of World War III. That is Kamala Harris's record. President Trump talks about that frequently, but yes, he did mention it in Chicago in response to a question from Rachel Scott.
And you just repeated the slur again. If it doesn't matter, why do you all keep questioning her identity? She's always identified as a black woman. She is biracial. She has a Jamaican father and an Indian mother. She's always identified as both. Why are you questioning that?
He's not questioning that. See there? That was a loaded question. Byron Donaldson never questioned her ethnicity. George is the only one bringing up the topic.
Well, George, first of all, this is something that's actually a conversation throughout social media right now. There were a lot of people who are trying to figure this out. But again, that's a side issue, not the main issue. The main issue.
Sir, one second. You just did it. You just did it again.
Of the United States.
Why do you insist on questioning her racial identity?
You want me to talk?
I want you to answer my question.
George, now that you're done yelling at me, let me answer. He talked about it on the stage yesterday in Atlanta for, 2 minutes? He spent more than 35, 40 minutes going after her record, talking about how radical of a senator that she was. She was the most liberal senator in the United States, in the United States Senate. That is a fact. He talked about the job that she did as vice president of the United States, a job, I will add, which has been a failure for the American people. I know you guys like to glom on to this that he talks about in jest or in a serious manner for about a minute or so, but what you do not cover is the litany of failures of Kamala Harris. That's what we're not covering, George.
So questioning somebody's racial identity for a couple minutes is okay?
George didn't hear a word he said. George is straight on that one-track mind. We're still trying to make Trump out to be a racist over the comment. Can you work with me here? He's not here. He didn't hear a single word Byron Donald said about policy, about the track record.
George, I'm going to tell you again, he brought it up. AP is the one that wrote the headline when she first came in to the United States Senate. Didn't talk about her being black, talked about her being the first Indian American senator. AP brought that up. I mean, George, we could have this conversation for the entire segment, but none of this matters to the American people. What matters to the American people is, are we going to have the same policies of the Biden-Harris administration that has been destructive of the American people, or are we going to have the policies of the Trump administration, which put America first, had low inflation, prosperous Americans, no matter your race, no matter your color, no matter your creed, and a foreign policy that kept America safe? Those are the facts that truly matter, because this issue is going to come and go. The lives of the American people is what's going to remain, and that's what matters more than anything else.
If it doesn't matter, I don't understand why you keep on repeating it, why the president keeps on repeating it, why those introducing the president yesterday
George,
keep on
actually,
repeating
I'm not
it.
the one who keeps repeating it. George, you're the one that's bringing it up
That's
now.
right.
That's you.
You've done it.
I understand why
right.
You've done it. You've done it 3 times. Every single answer
George,
you gave me. Now let me finish, sir.
George,
every single answer you gave, you repeated the slur.
Asked me, George. That's why I'm pushing back on you now. George, you asked me the question 3 times.
He didn't repeat a slur.
I responded, but I'm.
And every single time you repeat the slur, that is exactly my point. You simply can't say that it's wrong.
George, so then what you're saying, and I want to get off this topic because it's not the only thing that's going on. But George, now you're saying that AP is the one that slurred Kamala Harris, because those are the facts. You can go to the internet and look at the clips, George, if you want to, or we can talk about this now. I prefer to talk about the future of our country, because the American people are struggling. The American people do need serious policy decisions to be made, and they need serious leadership on the world stage. Kamala Harris has not proven that she can do that. Donald J. Trump has proven that he can do that.
AP did not say that Kamala Harris is not black. She is biracial. She is Indian. She is black. You continue to repeat the fact that you continue to repeat the slur. I don't understand why you and the president do it, but it's clear you're not going to say that it's wrong. And you've now established.
George Stephanopoulos is just begging for this guy to denounce something that Trump said, and he's putting words in his mouth, and he's calling his conversation a slur, and he's talking about Associated Press's statement. George Stephanopoulos doesn't want to actually do the research and get the facts of the matter for any of these stories that he brings out, because the truth of most of these stories that he's got to spin on is totally different than what he's reporting. So he doesn't want to go fact check and look at the AP article. He doesn't want to look at 100 other articles that I've seen on Twitter over the last couple of days where Kamala Harris was reported as an Asian woman in the beginning, and then she somehow became a black woman. Maybe she's both. Who really cares? But George Stephanopoulos, for 5 solid minutes, made that the only question that worked for him for this week on ABC this morning. No policy conversation whatsoever. It's, why are you trashing Kamala? Why do you support Trump who's trashing Kamala? Come on, George.
That for our audience. Trump also said at the convention that he would pardon January 6 rioters.
Everybody look for themselves. Let's move on.
January 6th. January 6th.
I've already said that. Go ahead.
On the internet, everybody. Let's move on. There we go.
So, you go on and repeat the slurs again. Trump also said at the convention that he would pardon.
And then George Stephanopoulos went on to try to hem Byron Donalds up on the question about January 6th. Boy, George Stephanopoulos is like an ambush. He's king of ambush on ABC, no doubt about it. Ambushing conservatives, ABC. Didn't work out too well for him, but they got to try. I got several more clips here for you today, folks. Now, I'm not going to play you this whole clip, but here is a little bit of Kamala Harris's great takes from Maria Bartiromo.
With the push to Election Day, now 93 days away, with a focus this morning on the candidates' policy proposals and the impact on American citizens. We are expecting Kamala Harris to announce her running mate within the next 2 days, with the finalists seen to be Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Coming up, my exclusive interview live with Ohio Senator and President Trump's running mate, Vice Presidential candidate J.D. Vance, will join me live in just a few moments. But first, policy. President Trump
Here we
here
go,
to walk
folks.
us through his policy proposals as Democrats and the mainstream media work overtime trying to disassociate Vice President Kamala Harris from her record in the Biden-Harris administration. First, let's take a look at spending policy. $7 trillion spent on her watch on several packages, including the two spending packages that Kamala Harris was the breaking tie vote for passage, the Inflation Reduction Act and the American Rescue Plan, which together cost about $2.5 trillion of the $7 trillion spent. The Biden-Harris four-year spending spree, largely for their climate change agenda, sent inflation up to 40-year highs, at its peak averaging about 9.1%. With essentials like food and shelter currently up 20%, energy currently up nearly 33% due to the White House's new regulations on the fossil fuel industry, effectively shutting down America's oil and gas independence while pushing their green energy agenda. Fear is now gripping investors over the impact on jobs and a slowing economy. The stock market sold off on Friday on evidence of cracks in the jobs market. The Dow down 610 points, the Nasdaq down 417, with job creation slowing and the unemployment rate rising to the highest level in almost 3 years, as new worries are now emerging over the threat of an impending recession.
That's enough, but that's exactly what needs to be reported to all these wokies, these lefties, these Kamala Harris supporters. Our economy is shit right now and is getting worse under the fact that our inflation is horrible. And it's horrible only because of these policies that our Congress, which took Kamala Harris's vote, pushed all these trillions of dollars, several trillion, 1.2.3 trillion dollar packages through the House and the Senate in just the last couple of years. We're talking like she said, $7 trillion spent. That is why our inflation is so bad. We're not pumping our own oil, and we're borrowing money and spending money we don't have. Just facts, folks. If that doesn't make you want to vote for Trump, nothing does. Now, this here is a just a little short clip. I found this the other day. Forgot to bring it to y'all. It's from the Young Turks. I do not like the Young Turks, but it's actually a Fox News clip, to be honest with you. But the Young Turks is the first place I found it this morning, or should I say yesterday? But let's go ahead and get into it. Just a little short clip here of just something that I think is true. And if y'all don't know who the Hawk Tall Girl is, ask me in the comment section or Google it yourself. All right, here we go.
And there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Haktua girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough. That was harsh.
I just had to bring y'all that, folks. If y'all haven't seen that yet, I can't believe they said that on Fox. But it's true. It's not fake news. Once upon a time, the FBI and the DOJ fought organized crime. Now they are organized crime. If you agree with that, give me a thumbs up right now on the video. All right. Now, this here is a video clip I found yesterday I thought was too good. Let me see if I can scroll down just a hair. All right, folks. Let's see if we can get it in the screen. All right, this is a good one, folks. Here we go. Shorty, but a good one. This was Shamika Michelle's one and only appearance on Fox News.
A woman, especially a black woman, it's really hard for me to say anything negative about Kamala Harris, considering she fought hand and knee to get where she is, and sex work is work. However, I don't think anyone believes this rhetoric. The only people falling for this are those that mailed in 2 ballots. I just think it's funny that they want us to like someone who is just truly unlikable. As a woman, especially a black woman, it's really hard for me to say anything negative about Kamala Harris.
She's black. I can't say nothing about her. And if she's a prostitute, that's okay. At least she's got a job. Oh, I can't believe they played that on Fox. And here we go, another one. Here's another classic.
want to talk policy. They just want to use propaganda to steal your vote. The left is trying to tout this woman as a savior for the black community, but all she's done is hurt the black community since she came into the game. See, the first step in destroying the black community is to dismantle the black family. So aside from her record as a prosecutor, why don't we ask Mrs. Willie Brown if Kamala Harris cares about black families? They don't want to talk policy. They just want to use propaganda to steal your vote. The left is trying to tout this woman as a savior.
She said a couple of great things, including the fact that the first statement she made was, they just want your vote. They're not here to help the black community. They just want your vote. Yeah. This, what's her name? Shamika Michelle. She's going viral, folks. That's the second video I found of her. Just saying it like it is. This is a fact. If illegal people that are in our country voted for Republicans, the Democrats would have built the border wall years ago. And that's a fact, folks. Something to ponder on. Another Clint Eastwood great quote. Now, this here is a great clip as well, folks. I just agree with everything this man says in this video clip here.
I can't vote for a party that is for all kind of sexual perversions. I can't do it. I can't vote for a party that's going to accept transgenders going into women's restrooms. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't go with a party that wants to cut little girls' breasts off to make them boys. I can't go with a party that says you can be a boy today and a girl tomorrow. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't support a party that wants to remove God from its party platform. You in trouble when the nation forgets God. I can't follow a party that wants to sexualize our children in school, put drag queens in front of them, reading them little children's stories. I can't do it. I can't support a party that wants to take the rights of parents away. In California right now, parents are being arrested because they won't go along with the sexualization of their children. But there are many parents that are compromising. Y'all got to make a decision.
That's right.
It's either God or the devil.
And that's the absolute truth, folks. There's no doubt about it. That is what it comes down to in this world. You either are for team good or team evil. If you're voting for the Democrats at this point, you definitely got something wrong with you, or you're still blind to what's going on behind the scenes. Because one of the most horrible things going on with the Democrat Party is one of the least talked about things going on in our country, and that's the human trafficking trade. And the Democrat Party and many factions of our government are facilitating it. And that is a horrible thing for anybody to vote for. Remind your Democrat friends that if you have any friends that are Democrats, you have any Democrats in your family, remind them Republicans are not the party of the perversion. That's the Democrat Party. Matter of fact, I've got two facts for you right quick before I jump out of here. And these are just fun facts about Democrats. Scroll down, find them real quick. All right, here's the first one. History that is never taught. The first 23 black congressmen were all Republicans. And it was 100+ years later before there was ever a black Democrat. 100 and something years. It didn't happen until the 60s. Just facts, folks. I got one more for you. It says, fact, 14th Amendment, giving full citizenship to free slaves, passed in 1868, right after the Civil War, with 94% Republican support and 0 Democrat support in Congress. The 15th Amendment, giving free slaves the right to vote, passed in 1870 with 100% Republican support and 0 support from the Democrats in Congress. Democrats didn't want the blacks to vote. Now that blacks are allowed to vote, they want them to vote for their team. Fact of the matter is, most people are waking up to the fact that the Democrats and the mainstream media have been lying a long time, trying to suppress the truth about what the Democrat Party is really about. And it is not about helping these woke, left wing, mostly melanated cities with any kind of financial help. They would rather help the illegals coming over the border tomorrow. It's just facts, folks. And I think these facts like these are the things that are really getting stuck in people's craw when it comes to the people that don't normally vote. I think a lot of those people will vote, whether it be because Trump got shot, Trump was locked up, or charged with a felony, because people see how corrupt our justice system is, or people just wake up to the fact that our government's run amok with our country. And it really depends on, are we going to let the illegals win this race or win this election, because the government inserts all these extra ballots, which we're trying to fight in every state right now. There's several attorney generals and secretary of states trying to stop the whole voter roll, illegals being allowed to vote situation. While at the same time, the Democrat Party is losing their black vote. And so they're trying to find their new voter base, which is south of the border. Not anymore. But I literally see it happening each and every day on the internet. They are losing their voter base, which is the black vote. Without the black vote, the Democrat Party would never win another election again, and that's just the facts. So, like I've seen many of me say, they're important. Their next voter class, trying to replace America with this great replacement theory, which includes the government implanting people and figureheads to decide what we want next. It's a damn shame, folks. It's a crying shame. That's all I got for you today, folks. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Sorry the video was a little bit long, but several things I want to get to. Like, subscribe, and share to Vote Patriots. Everybody have a great day. Like I said, over and out.